Fremantle, 8th spot on the ladder right now. Victory would take them higher and take them one win from top spot. It's an open season. Both teams need this one. Second half underway. Crowley shoots it to Pearce. There's some vertical footy. Straight up in the air. The ball edged out of it illegally. Gets the free.
Port cannot afford Fremantle to get the first goal there.
Heads wide. Pavlich edged out of that, and Clark almost plucks it. And he's been paid the man in front to Logan.
Yeah, you're right there. Pavlich nearly got pushed out of that contest.
And everybody waiting here for him to kick his 500th career goal. Matthew Pavlich, if you've just joined us, he's on 499.
Well, if that's vertical footy, I like it, seeing Clark go straight up in the air trying to take a hanger.
Big call by Glenn Jakovich. He'll be the best ruckman in the competition in a couple of years' time. He's got Nick Natanui to get past and a couple of others. I like the confidence. Sandlands flicks it down. Hartlett. Pearce. Rowley.
Nick Nat's not a ruckman.
Okay.
He's a small forward that's 7'3".
Nick Nat's just Nick Nat.
He doesn't qualify.
Does not qualify.
He's from another world. 45 plays 22. Early stages third term. Ran off. Sandlands, another one of the superstar ruckmen of the competition. And Hill can't make something of that.
Still Hill just being able to work on the outside. He sort of works in his opponent, ball watches. And it's Hill who obviously knows where the majority of the taps are going to go, because this bloke's 7'3". He gets away.
Ebert to Corns, bang, that was in the backish. Pavlich knew it straight away.
10 disposals for Kane Corn so far in this game.
Dangerous to McCarthy.
David, 2 metres. Thank you.
Oh, there's a free kick against Matthew Pavlich. It's an area of his game that he's in the top 5 in the competition. Tackles inside 450, so that's great leadership amongst his teammates.
Touch ball, Boak played on, heads to Logan under some pressure again. Cassisi. Sidestepped a couple, not a lot to go to. Butcher made position. Fantastic half volley. Hartlett left her behind. Young just off the bench. Sides his way through. Caught, dumped by Main, who laid a couple of brilliant tackles in the opening half. McCarthy to the back of Corns.
Better stuff from Port, though. At least they're moving the ball quickly.
Hartlett smothered Ebert's kick.
Dawson. Not in the gameplay.
McPhee. Ballantyne. Tackled a little there by Surgeon. The crowd knew it. Mundy. Main. Pavlich. Look away handball. Might work. Pearce gathers and goes. Pavlich again. No one's in the square. Pavlich sees Ballantyne. He'll size them up from there. His eyes light up. It's off the side of the boot. It's a pass to Clark. He knew he was lurking in the pocket. Takes on Tringo. Rolls it towards goal.
Well, Ballantyne's major problem was that Zach Clark didn't break sideways. So he either had to kick the ball over his head, but in the end he really didn't give him any option whatsoever. So Ballantyne had to kick beyond his limit, 50. And you saw the result.
So Ebert will be brought into the centre square.
Did you like that move of Zach Clark then, Dwayne?
I did. I think
very good actually.
I might be with you on the. Actually, no, I'm not. But at least he looks like he might be top 4 or 5. Ebert short. Butcher. I need more from him. Started well.
Well played, Mazungu.
Stewart. Yeah, Mazungu filled the hole nicely. Broughton rewards him with a tap down, gives him a possession. That one not so special. Hill through some traffic. Barlow, Hill, Sandlands, McPhee. Crowd enjoying watching this at the moment. Mundy heads back to Barlow. Wide to Ballantyne on the bounce. Good gather. Shimmy with Ebert. Floats one to the middle.
Too much air time.
Broughton. Logan tried to crush it, missed it.
He's having one of those days, Lucky Neil.
Yeah. But at least he's getting up each time, and he gets a possession for his trouble. To Main. McPhee. Oops. That was look away throw. Barlow dragged down.
Port Adelaide have come out with a little bit more energy. They've been fired up by themselves, I suspect, and also the coach. And they're getting some reward for it.
Both sides pretty handball happy at the moment. Don't want to just grab it in the contest and kick it long. We've had 16 kicks and 32 handballs in this third quarter.
Speaking of great tacklers, Dom Cassisi, 10 tackles again last week against Richmond. Again, one of the top 2 tacklers in the AFL in 2012.
Great zone work there by Freo. They couldn't go sideways, so they were basically forced into kicking it down the line.
Spur, Johnson, Broughton, Barlow, Broughton, Duffield, and again they handle their way out of it. Although Crowley bumped, Hartlett. It opens up for Port Adelaide now. Ebert needs to find a handball target. Daniel Stewart missed both. Ball comes to Crowley, and he sits it up on Clark.
Crowd happy with the kick.
And there he is on cue for you, Jacko. Just couldn't hold it. Trengove long. Westhoff, pocket. Good pluck.
Catch by Westhoff. Didn't look like he was going to take the catch, but what an ugly start to the third quarter. You hope they could turn around both sides, but Westhoff needs to go back and kick a goal. Hasn't had a big influence on this game at all so far, Westhoff. He's only had the 4 disposals and yet to register a score.
He's kicked 12 goals 2 this year, so he has also been very, very accurate, and there's the start they were after.
Well, that is the beauty of a low-scoring game. You can be horrible for 2 quarters. They weren't for 2, but certainly for 1, Port Adelaide. And yet all of a sudden, if they put 15 minutes of good footy together here, they can be right back in this game at 3-quarter time. In fact, if they put it together through the quarter, they can be in front.
And they're actually capable of doing it. They've played some really good footy this year, but they just do it few and far between.
Back to a 3-goal game. Port Adelaide's first goal since the opening term. Roden, the clearance. Westhoff trying to shovel that out. Duffield, Crowley. Clark heads down to that by Alapate Carlisle illegally. Free kick. Just outside 50, a little bit of breeze at his back. Thinks about going long.
Pavlich off the ground, so they've got no tall targets.
Just giving that a good roost. Ballantyne in a 1-on-2 and had the carry, not the accuracy.
It's just lack of awareness by Zach Clark. He made the distance easy. In the end, it was 2-on-1 against Hayden Ballantyne, but should have realised the breeze will carry the ball. He just had to go back and have a shot at goal. He would have made the distance easy.
Duffield pulls that down. Took Port Adelaide's goal to get Fremantle working in this third term. De Boer, you picked it. That is a spectacular grab.
He was on his own, 30 metres out from goal for about 20 seconds there, and
no one paid him any respect. I think obviously not a noted high grab, but quite proficient in the air.
Yeah, whether it was respect or they didn't even see him, I'm not sure, but it was a very good catch by Matt De Boer and should kick this goal.
Signed a contract extension this week to keep him at the club until the end of 2014, and there's your instant reply.
Well, once again, it came from a kick out. Here it is, Troy Chaplin, just a long bomb. Now, I'm not sure what the advantage is in that kick.
Well, not to a 2-on-1, and Matty Primus is absolutely filthy, saying, what the hell are you kicking it there for?
Good question. Because it was 2-on-1 and then it came back to none-on-1. And they're numbers you'd like if you were in the Fremantle Docker camp.
First goal of the afternoon for Matt De Boer. Cut over his eye from a clash earlier in the game.
Hartlett pushing off half-back line. Trengove also spare in defence, so there's 2 spare for Port in their back half.
Biggest lead of the game right now for Fremantle, 25 points. Roden, clearance, but it's wide. Paul Stewart. McCarthy, Stewart, back to go forward to Cassisi. His kick under some pressure. Jacobs left it behind. Stripped of it by Duffield. And dumped. Crowd wanted ball. Pavlich back on, back into it. The 2 captains go together. Pavlich and Cassisi. Surely we'll get a ball up.
pressure by Freo there. When Port had the ball, they end up going backwards and still missing targets, though, Port Adelaide. They need to be better with their disposal.
Barlow couldn't quite get it away. Renoff. Paul Stewart. It's a mad scramble. Players coming up fresh after half time. And there's a pack of 25 around this ball up.
28 kicks and 51 handballs we've had in the third quarter.
Renoff beats Sandlands to it, but Sandlands beats him to the clearance. Barlow dives in. Roden alert to not get him high. Mzungu out to Broughton, and he bangs it over De Boer's head. A race. De Boer gets there first. Takes on Kasisi, trying to slip it to Pavlich, lays a tackle, that's almost ball, and that's almost deliberate. Crowd wanted it, don't get it. And here come the boos. That would have had Pav lining up for goal 500. Gee. Seen that paid before. Pavlich is stalking goal 500. McCarthy kicks away, Spur, thumps it back inside 50. Broughton. In fact, Broadbent, I should say. The Trengove, it'll be coming back. McFarlane. Dangerous kick, but it comes off. Crowley. Fortune favours the brave. He sees Pavlich, puts it out in front, over his head. Ballantyne, a spill. It works in his favour. Broughton, Crowley, outside of the boot, bends it back. Too much.
He gets goalmouth blindness like no other man for Fremantle. And Chris Mayne just wondering why the handball didn't come over the top.
1 goal 3 for Crowley today. 16 disposals. Doing a very good job on Travis Boak. He's had 14 Boak.
Port Adelaide not in it, but they're not out of it either. 26 points the margin, and Port Adelaide will come home with the breeze. Dawson with the fist. Roden, Pavlich, Daniel Stewart. Play on, the umpire screams. Crowd thought that Broughton was caught high. And again, they allow it to go for an eternity. A mad scramble. Barlow shoots it back in the Johnson direction. Slips a tackle. Looks up and he has Spur in the middle.
And they've got one off the bench in Lockie Neal. He's away.
He can get and go to Ballantyne if he wants. Ballantyne led a little too early. He bangs it long. Hill! Almost a monster grab. Trengove stole it from him. The crowd all went up. Everybody stood up as Hill went up, but he couldn't bring it down. Ballantyne again.
Oh, he went early.
Yeah.
And he nearly plucked it. I think Chris May might have been the big problem there.
Good lead.
Crowd enjoying it on the big screen again. Ballantyne still yapping away.
It's important. Port can hang on here. I mean, it's 19 scoring shots to 8. But it's only a 26-point deficit, and they got Brett Ebert, who they can inject into the game as their substitute. So they're just going to hang tough here, Port, and get the ball out of this defensive 50.
Wobbly ball up. McCarthy, that could be on the full. It is. Ooh, no, just touched the line. Well, it was out on the full from here. Umpire just telling the players the rule: the whole ball has to be over the line. Boundary umpire was right on the spot. Bogue. Roden. Westhoff. Bang. Gone. Ebert.
Once again, though, opposition clubs just going to the defensive hip of Sandlands, reading it nicely. Slack handball.
Johnson. Sandlands has got Pavlich on the lead. Couldn't get it on his boot. It is a long way down there. Logan. Gang tackle. Corns. Phillips. Chaplin. Again, the Dockers getting numbers back. Daniel Stewart, good hands.
Much better kick, though, from Troy Chaplin. He looked and put it to their advantage.
And it's a mark to Jacobs.
It was a calculated risk going through the middle of the ground, but it was his only option, Jared. It was a 2-on-1. Had to hit the target.
Yep.
Player in front took the mark. They've got an opportunity here, Port. Need to consolidate.
Is that breeze worth a goal or two, Jacko?
Certainly is a couple.
Okay, so Port Adelaide will come home with it in the final term. That's a mongrel, and Ibbotson read it beautifully.
Did look as if Zach Dawson went 2 metres over the mark.
Mzungu, Broughton, Mundy. And now Pavlich feeding back towards it. to his own advantage. Carlisle gets some help from Tringo, about to be shut down by De Boer. Carlisle pumps it long. Johnson to Rice.
Having a good game, Johnson.
Broughton. Clark. Difficult ball to mark. Tringove meets it with a fist. Corns in the middle. They've got a spark right now, Port Adelaide. You can sense they believe they're still in it.
Bad kick.
Corns to the advantage of McFarlane, not the advantage of Phillips.
I just don't understand that. I've seen Kane Corns, a senior player, do that a couple of times today. Wasn't a lot of pressure on him in the middle of the ground, but I needed a couple of high half forwards to present, because that long kick there is just playing into Fremantle's hands.
He would almost have rolled that, kicked it along the ground inside 50 to that contest. McFarlane and Phillips. Johnson, chip. Good hands, McPhee.
Yeah, you're spot on, Dwayne. There's no point putting in the air when your tallest player, Simon Phillips, down there.
And McFarlane can take a mark. McPhee long. Over Pavlich's head. Main the jumper this time. Held it a long time. Ballantyne gives it to Pavlich. Doesn't want to go for goal 500. To De Boer. Kick smothered. Young. Pokes it wide. And needs to go and get it again. Back to Corns. If Corns calls, you kind of got to give it. And Westhoff gets the benefit of any doubt that was 15. Surgeon. Roden takes them on. He's got McCarthy out wide. Kick needs to be good, and it is. And now you've got Phillips with McFarlane inside 50. He pokes it up long to Ebert to his advantage. About to pounce. Kick many a goal from here. And he drives it through at his old home ground.
Well done to Port Adelaide, who are just holding on for grim death and just playing counter-attack footy and getting away with it at the present time. I mean, they've learnt slowly, but this time they give a kick to their advantage, get some numbers there, only because Brad Ebert was prepared to run his guts out and get from a midfield position into the forward line to add some numbers, and he gets rewarded for his effort. Not out of it yet.
Door opens again.
Great to see John Butcher really lead to the contest. He protected the line of the ball to allow Ebert to come through. 2-on-1 situation. It's good work by Port's forwards.
Clark knocks it down. Barlow, De Hill, and he bombs it. Pavlich in a 1-on-1, 1-on-2 in the end. Almost beats them both. Stewart, Chaplin, Trengove, Surgeon, Cassisi. Dangerous kick. Westhoff. Good hold. Trengove doesn't want to kick it. Broad bent back to Trengove. Bounces it towards Young. Attacks it well but left it behind. Dawson. McFarlane goes inboard to Clark. Good poise. Spur. Bumped on the kick, but it works. Johnson. De Boer. Pavlich wants it long. He was ignored. Main the target.
This game's opened up in the last 5 minutes. I think the players are just starting to get a little bit tired, and we can see the ball going from one end to the other. Prior to that, we were seeing the zone in place just about for the whole game, where they were just trying to chip it through the area, but now players certainly running from end to end.
Chris May came into this game having kicked 10 goals straight.
A lot of work in his setup here, so it'll be interesting to see as he continue his good accuracy.
From the paint, he strikes it beautifully. That is copybook.
Well, I think you're spot on, Root. Just opened up a little bit. We've seen a couple of goals at one end of the ground, and then the Dockers pushing forward into those open spaces and setting up some of their forwards for shots at goal. Nice chase. Really unfortunate there for Port Adelaide that the ball fell to Johnson, but he also was in a space of his own, and that's a fantastic finish. Use the breeze nicely just to bring it back right to left.
Can't miss at the moment, Chris Main. And every time Port kicked the goal to give them some momentum, Fremantle hit back. 6.5 minutes left in this third term. He ducked into that tackle, and that sometimes can be paid ball.
Well, I think it's good umpiring, that one there. If you're going to stick your head over it like that, you need to be prepared to cop it.
About the tick into time on third term. Sandlin's tried to flick that back. Hartlett, tackled by Mundy, handed that to Westhoff.
It's a good release in the finish, even though it was a throw.
Johnson, if you can hide it and get away with it. Johnson, Mundy.
Touch ball, touch.
Fremantle realise they've got to get a wriggle on here. Port Adelaide will come home with this breeze, and they're full of run at the moment. Roden to Broadbent. Just didn't bounce for him, and he turns it over. Dawson almost turned it over again. Main hands it up. Sandlands, Crowley, Long, Neal. Good hands. Oh, he's crushed. Play on the call.
Free kick for sure.
The crowd will go crazy at that. That is a bizarre decision. Kasisi. They might still get it regardless here. Corns pops it wide on the line. Stewart takes the mark. That's decision of the year. Renoff and the boos continue to ring around Patersons Stadium.
And Dwayne, Port Adelaide have activated their sub. Daniel Stewart has been substituted out of the game. Brett Ebert into the game for his first game of the year.
Okay, so the two Ebert cousins playing their first game of AFL footy together right now. So they've gone a tall for a small. Put a small goal-kicking player on and taken a tall off Pavlich.
Nowhere to go. Smart player will find a position.
And that is a splendid pass. Main almost at full stretch and full speed. Chaplin now. Renoff needs a handball target. Trengove, McCarthy. One-on-one, and again goes high to a player with a height advantage for Fremantle. McFarlane tackled.
That was deliberate.
And the umpire pays it. And the crowd finding full voice again. Port Adelaide with some momentum. Lead stands at 26, but it's an 8-5 game.
Got to be smart with this entry. Sandlands is just sitting down there waiting for it.
And Butcher's free at the top of the goal square.
Against McFarlane. It was a silly free kick by McFarlane because they had numbers back, but he just worked to the front. John Butcher, smart play.
Yeah, you're right, Jacko. They had an army down there, the Dockers, and Butcher was probably unlikely to even get near it.
Yeah, he was the only tall in there, so McFarlane didn't need to go giving away a free kick like that.
And this becomes a massive kick. Everybody in this ground knows it. Just 4 minutes left of three-quarter time. Fremantle had opportunities to break this game open. And Port Adelaide are up off the canvas.
Coming home with a wind, despite the fact that they were pretty ordinary in the second quarter. It's always a psychological advantage, Roo, to be going down with the wind in the last quarter. So if you can sneak back to 20 points behind, even get another one here, or certainly not concede one, you'd give yourself a sneaky opportunity.
Absolutely. Johnny Butcher hasn't had a heap of the ball. He's had 7 disposals, kicked 2 goals, but he really is creating a good contest up in the forward line.
And that goal's killed the crowd. Suddenly silence at Patersons Stadium, which is exactly what Port Adelaide were after. Hill, he was the one that got them going earlier. Barlow gave it to him, and he gives it to Pearce. Squeezes the pass. Clark on the run for the instant reply.
Yeah, good footy by Freo there. Beautiful kick, beautiful lead, and a good response if they can go back and kick this goal.
It is about the only time you see what just unfold happen in AFL footy these days. Ruck tap, gets the ball to a couple of half forwards, it kicks to a leading full forward. Just doesn't happen in footy anymore because there's full forwards end up playing up the ground.
And it hits the post. The nerves are jangling here. Fremantle lead, but Port Adelaide right in it. 21 points to margin.
Yeah, Port Adelaide leading the tackles, the clearances, the contested footy in this third quarter.
Dominic Kasisi.
And boys, I can just tell you that breeze has picked up from ground level here, so it's going to play a big factor in the last quarter.
Wide ball. Johnson knocked high and wins himself a free.
Well, the umpire rode Fremantle Dockers one in that area, so there's the square up.
Can he reach it from there?
I reckon he can. I mean, the wind is right behind him.
Put it up.
Question is, will he go for it?
He hits the top of the square. Chance for the leapers. Clark can't go up, and Trengo held his ground. Front spot against Sandlands.
Well, Ross Lyon will be pretty savage on that. The fact that somebody can be in the front of the pack and basically have an uncontested mark. Nobody hit him. Nobody cracked the football.
Renoff. And he outstretched, and Sandlands stood his ground. And he doesn't want to have a crack.
Get it in there.
He hits the top of the square. Pavlich is down there. Chaplin with the fist. Westhoff. Nice half volley to McCarthy. Down to 2 minutes. Goes backwards, strangely enough. Dangerous kick. And he was bumped. Hill. He marked and kicked the goal, but it won't count. So downfield, rather than where it was in the pocket. Where would Port Adelaide rather have?
Gee, that could have been an amazing turnover by Westhoff.
Time back on.
Port Adelaide get a break. Carlisle gives it back again, and Ballantyne's kicked from this pocket before. He had an opportunity for the game, but he can run inside this time. There's still 2 minutes left on the clock. Kickable by his standards. Doesn't go for it. Clark pocket fumbles the chest mark.
Just got to ask the question out of Paddy Carlisle, what was going through his mind as you see Zach Clark just coming a bit late there, a bit high. But Porter just got to play the percentages here. 2 minutes left. Just go to the three-quarter time break with this small deficit.
Well, the winds pushed that ball almost back inside 50 after it floated out. Hill. Spur. Kick half smothered. Ricochets toward Renoff and Clark. The tackle initially by Renoff. Ballantyne tried to make something of it.
They're away here.
Now McCarthy. Sits it wide for Jacobs, who can still get and go. He's got Ebert, but he needs to collect it. Ebert calls for it hard, and he runs hard to make position.
Yeah, Port Adelaide players got to run hard back at the moment. They've got no one to go to if they don't push hard.
They're still keen, Roo, on going super wide. I mean, that guy, that handball goes to Ebert. He's going straight up the centre.
Ebert to Ebert.
Great catch there by Brett Ebert.
Had to reward the cousin for the move. Now Butcher, couple to beat, pays for the free. Spur back of the pack. We're down to a minute. Port Adelaide pressing here. Duffield bumped on the kick. Mundy. Fremantle a chance for a late score. De Boer. Told to go. Mundy. Just chips it wide for Main. Clever. Down to 35 seconds. Pavlich is on 50. Dawson's on 50.
Zach Dawson up forward.
Oh, he dropped that. That's got to be play on. Wastes a few seconds. De Boer in the 1-2. This will work. Pass target though. Sandlands wasn't aware of the move, and Logan, barring a crazy indiscretion here, should mop up the remote. There's your crazy indiscretion. And this may be within range, depending on who gets it. De Boer about to load up with the siren about to sound. Okay, so Dawson to take the kick. Clock takes a while to roll. Back of the pack, danger, seconds tick by, knocked down towards Neil, might have the last shot, he does on the siren, but it's a behind. They just can't put Port Adelaide away, Fremantle. Port Adelaide have played their way back into the contest. At a three-quarter time, with Port Adelaide coming home with the breeze, it's the Dockers by 22, and the Pav stuck on 499. Three-quarter time, Fremantle 8-14-62. Port Adelaide 6-4-40.